Hi.
Hi.
What's happening, everybody at home? Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good Friday.
No,
Stop it. Howson's Brew's going to be on at 4 o'clock if you want to come and join us a little bit later on. We've got Ryan Hopper on.
Oh, that does the coaching and stuff.
Yeah, you've heard of him at the RH.
Yeah, the RH. I've heard that more than I've heard of actually Ryan Hopper, to be honest.
Yeah, fair play.
The RH.
So, yeah.
Yeah. What have you been doing today, Steve?
Why is Joe talking and not into the mic?
I don't know. We've bought these headphones. Oh, the video as well. About the press conference that's just been
This is a press conference reaction, Alex.
We're
reacting to the press conference, and I'll be reacting to quotes that have derived therefrom.
Yep. You had Jay do a bit of research for you.
We did,
He
and
wrote more down.
he's wrote massive essay. Rather than giving me direct quotes, he's given me War and Peace as told by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about an hour ago.
But it is good, though. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has talked maybe a little, not sense is the words. But so it's all good. It's not like it's waffle. It's actual good stuff.
What should we start on? I'll give you a couple of topics. You guys in the comments, let us know what you want to hear first. He talked about Diallo. He talked about the Rojo. He talked about the Romero. He talked about the COVID. It's happening, that. Big deal at the moment. He talked about Ighalo. He talked about the City defeat. Talked a bit more about Ighalo.
Let's not talk about City defeat.
Talked about Palestri.
No, I don't want to do that.
Where do you want me to start?
Let's start with Rojo and Romero. Let's have a talk about that first.
Rojo and Romero. He says both of them have contracts until the summer and they're not going to be extended. We're looking to find them clubs. Marcus has given time to go home, so he's still in Argentina. How fun is that? Just do what you want.
Yeah.
Sergio has been back home as well to see his family, but he's back in England now. But they're professionals and they're working hard and they're ready for us to call in for us. I don't think Rojo is, I'm going to be honest. No. Marcus will have to travel and do quarantine before. Yeah, so if you go, oh, actually, do you want to play tomorrow? It'll be like, well, is tomorrow in 2 weeks?
3 weeks.
Otherwise, no.
Yeah, by the time I'm here, by the time I've trained, 2 weeks, yeah, it's not happening. But I did the news yesterday when the kind of Romero stuff came out. That there's, yeah, I know. And people were going on saying, we've not treated Romero very well. You know, we've been disrespectful to Sergio Romero. And I think it's, well, he's been paid a lot of money.
I'd like to be that disrespected.
To sit and do nothing. And that's literally been his goal, is to, I want to be here and do as little as possible. I'm going to play a few games. Maybe
the thing is, when he was like, right, I won't go now, and we'd brought Henderson back, we should have let him go.
We should have, but I think the thing was that Everton were the one that came in. And I think at that point, I think Ollie and the rest of the Manchester United fan and Manchester United were thinking, Everton aren't far off where we are. They've got a good squad, got a very good manager. They've got a keeper who is very good.
T-Rex arms.
T-Rex arms. I was going to say, but you said it instead. So giving them Sergio Romero kind of not one-ups them on us, but makes them a lot better. We know how good he is. I think if someone lower down the league, random team would have come in. City.
Arsenal.
If Arsenal had come in and gone, can we have Sergio Romero? We're going, well, you're not going to compete with us. So, yeah, off you go.
Have Rojo as well.
And they also think that there was a money thing. That, you know, you have got a year left. You're a decent player. You're on a lot of money. You need to pay a little bit of money. It should be 10, 12 million pounds at least. And I think everyone went, nah, you're all right. I'll wait till next year. And Romero was like, not going to push it because I'm getting paid decent here. I'm going to have to take a pay cut.
I think his wife did. I think his wife had things to say.
At the same time, it was like, you're going to have to take a pay cut if you're going to go right now. And I think he's gone, nah, I can give it another 6 months and get paid 6 figures a week to do nothing whatsoever.
It's third choice goalkeeper is a proper fuck all as well, isn't it? That's like, there's like levels to how little you do.
Because even I think Lee Grant does a bit of coaching.
Being a uni student in the 6 week holidays, that's fuck all. Third choice goalkeeper, it's even less than that.
Yeah, because even like
noodles
Lee Grant at fourth choice does a bit of coaching and stuff. So even he helps out. Romero just goes, not today, lads. I'm going to stay at home.
What are you doing?
I'm
going to do a go-karting place in Warrington.
Yeah. That's all he's doing. So I think that there is a little bit of, we should let him go. But United have to look after Manchester United first of all, and if strengthening another team in loaning him to Everton or something,
I think that's the major thing, is that it was going to strengthen a team that we didn't actually know much about, and at the time the transfer window was still open. Everton was I think they had a perfect record at the time, didn't they? So it makes a lot of sense. Diallo, let's talk about Diallo next, because everyone's getting probably a little too giddy about him because it's our only Christmas present, innit?
It is.
So
we might get someone else. We might get Casero, we may get someone, but Diallo's what we're getting.
So, Diallo, here's what he said about Diallo. He's not been with us in the training group. Well, no shit, because he literally arrived this week.
Yesterday.
He done the last bit of paperwork so he can come in. Excited by all the new players coming. I've seen there's lots of expectations on Ahmad, and rightly so. Exciting player with fantastic attributes. I would say you're looking at 10 minutes and bench tomorrow at the absolute best.
Yeah, because if he's not trained, he's not got all the paperwork perfectly done yet. He might not even be registered to play for tomorrow. He might not even be. Might be in the squad.
Yeah, it should be. I think it's 24 hours. So
again, I don't think that you're not expecting much. Considering he's not even playing for Atalanta. Now that might be a little bit of, we don't want to. Maybe United have gone. If you don't need him, don't play him.
Well, I know that Fabrizio Romano, great journalist,
he was on the Tier 1 podcast.
On the Tier 1 podcast, which is a fantastic podcast on Stretford Paddock, which is the only United channel you need to be watching.
Yep.
He was saying that he thinks that there was a bit of a case of, look, one, don't break our new toy. Two, they're not going to be interested in developing a guy that's leaving them. So, he got a little bit of a run out here and there, and that was it.
Because Atalanta aren't that good. Because when he came on in the Champions League, he impressed everyone and kind of went, he looks properly sharp. And Atalanta aren't that good that you go, he wouldn't be on the bench every week.
No, they were everyone's favourite hipster team.
Yeah, they were. Really. But I think that he would have been pushing them to get in the squad. I'm not sure how much he'll play for Manchester United. I think that he'll probably, like I said, 10 minutes tomorrow, maybe come on now and again. But I think you've got to adapt a little bit. I mean, I don't think he's not a big lad. He's not going to come in and be physical straight away and stuff, and to adapt to the Premier League.
No, he's little. He's very much a child.
If adapting to the Premier League, he's going to be big, and I think that it's going to take a little bit of time. I expect him to be a lot like
good for him,
Palestri kind of thing.
I mean, I don't know if they're friends. They're literally just from the same country, but sometimes that's enough in it to be taken under the wing. If you had to have a big brother at United that's going to look after you, Eric Bailly, he's about near the top of that list, if not the top of that list.
He's a mental case as well.
What's the problem?
I don't know.
Think about it, right?
I don't know.
You're an 18-year-old winger making your debut in England. Someone decides to put a late one on you, and then you have Eric Bailly just come and say some, let's be honest, outrageous shit to you, that what he's going to do to you. And you go, I'd probably do that as well, because he's not roofed in.
Him just two-footing people in training that go anywhere near him and stuff like that, and stuff like that. Maybe. But also could lead him down the path of just utter, come with me, let's go and do some daft shit. Because I think everybody does, doesn't it? So, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know how much he's going to play. Maybe the 10-minute cameos here and there. You never know. He may come into training and go, he's very impressive, and we have to give him some more minutes. But I don't think that. I don't think that if you look at Palestri, who has come in, I think that he's come in and just played in the 23s. I see a lot. I think Diallo will probably do that.
Yeah,
for at least
I wasn't
months.
impressed with Palestri from what I saw prior to him coming to United. He looks better since he's got here, but the under-23 game is not something I want to judge on. Mason at 16 and 17 was playing under-23s and looked honestly ridiculous. Now, honestly, Mason is ridiculous, and he's going to continue that trajectory, but that's the standard you've got to look for. Does he look like what Mason looked like? Well, if he did, then let's have a see what he looks like against men, because 23's football is so beige and vanilla.
Yeah.
So I do expect Ahmad to stand out in that. You paid £40 million for him.
Yeah, he should.
It's not far off what we paid for Bruno, brother. Think of that. Let me throw them thingies at you.
But again, he is 18. He's got time to develop, and I think with all this Brexit stuff, United have kind of gone, we needed to gamble a little bit in the last summer and go, let's get 5 or 6 youth players that are going to fit this new mould that are going to be here for a long time. And they've done that with Diallo, done that with Palestri. They've done that even with like Hannibal and people like that. They've strengthened the 16, 17 and 18 category.
They've been doing that a while. Actually.
Knowing that it's going to be harder in the next 12 months to get players in.
Not only that, if you can gamble on 10 kids between 7 and 10 million each, one of them's going to be Hollywood kid, right?
Yeah.
One of them's going to be absolutely outrageous. And you've just saved yourself a fee. Now, you'll probably be able to get your money back on 50% of them. Economically, it's quite a good gamble. Yeah. One Hollywood kid, one Cristiano Ronaldo, or even in the same, no, you're not getting in the same sphere, are you? But you know what I mean. One top tier footballer comes through. All of them gambles was worth it.
You even look at Lukaku for when Chelsea signed him. Don't think they paid a ridiculous amount from Anderlecht. They paid whatever. Even before they signed United, he sold him to Everton for 30 million quid. And straight away you've made money on a 16-year-old there that obviously has gone on to be very good. But you can argue how good Lukaku is. People have said he's up there in the world, but he's not the next Ronaldo.
Didn't we pay like 300 grand for PK? You flip him for 7 million. In hindsight, Barcelona got a fantastic deal, but so did we.
Yeah, we did it at that point in time. But what was that?
I didn't hear that.
Lukaku to Chelsea was €12 million, so they made 18 million quid.
Well, on
plus
Palestri,
on that one.
Ollie had something to say about Palestri. Now, obviously, he's got the Rona.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bit of a nightmare. So I thought he might have featured a little bit tomorrow because he seems to have been drafted into first team training of late a little bit. And he says, I think we've done well to follow the protocols. Weird one. We've had the odd case and Palestri got a positive test, so he's reported that on his Twitter. We normally don't comment as to who they are, but Facundo is well and hopefully he'll be back with us soon. He's been with the reserves in 23s, wasn't really in our group over Christmas. Apart from that, we've had a full and fit squad. Yeah,
it's interesting how he said that we don't usually comment on it, which makes it sound like there's been a few more cases at United, one or two here and there, that they've just kind of just gone, you don't need to know about that, which is how it should be.
Well, do you know what? I was thinking this. Someone mentioned something about this in regard to, I think it might have been the City case that had happened recently with them all getting it after being at parties that they shouldn't have been going to.
Allegedly.
Well, you shouldn't have been going to it. Any fucking party you shouldn't have been going to. Simple. But the thing is, City had apparently seen their ass with people reporting on who had it, because technically it's patient confidentiality, innit? And I was having to think about this, saying, like, we get a lot of information about players' injuries. Now, the ones you see on the pitch, I guess that's fair game, but even reporting of injuries that happen behind the scenes is an interesting one. And I know Fergie had something in his book where he said he was sick of when they would send players to third-party hospitals and to physios and stuff like that. And he goes, it'd always leak in the press, which is why they ended up even having like podiatrists and stuff come into Carrington to stop that sort of thing leaking. And it just made me think about it a little bit, about how that sort of info gets out. And maybe United are right to just be like, it's no one's fucking business.
Well, it's one of them, is that first off, that it stops all the talk about how did they get it and all this kind of stuff. You know, you've seen the City stuff, but United have seemed to be pretty good in terms of everyone not breaking the rules. But if you start having the odd case here and there, people go, well, where are they going? Why are they doing this and all that? But so that's a good thing that they keep it. And also, players like, if you've got a player that's out for 10 days kind of thing, you can keep that pretty quiet and then just bring them back into the team. Keep it, and people don't know that. And also, you can put that player into the team, and they know that, maybe he's not going to last as long because he's not got the cardio for now. Whereas if you know that he's had COVID, you know that you're probably only going to do an hour, and you're always going to have to make a sub so we can run at him a bit more or something like that. You can do things like that and keeping that under wraps. And the same thing with injuries as well, is that I'm sure Fergie was pretty annoyed when you heard someone's hurt their ankle. You don't want that reporting because you go, yeah, exactly. You know that people are going to target that. You're going to do that when you're trying to get them back into the team. So, yeah, I can completely understand why United have done it. But, like you said, Palestri maybe would have got 20 minutes. He wasn't going to start this weekend, I don't think.
I don't think he was. I think, he might have come off the bench, and that might be a spot that opens up for Diallo. Yeah. I was wondering about, is there going to be any more drafted in? And going back to the same sort of point, I think it was Ethan and Brandon I was talking to before they made their debuts. Yeah. Like, oh, you've been photographed in first team training. How's that going? And the response was, I've been training with the first team for about 8 months. Yeah. And you go, what? And you go, yeah. And you go, but when the photographers come, they move us.
Ah, right. Clever.
Sneaky.
They're cleverer than they look.
They are cleverer than they look.
Football clubs. They do a few things, and I think that people underestimate how much stuff goes on.
Like all the European ones where they're allowed to film the opener of training. They don't film the detail of training. They just film warm-ups. Yeah. It's shit for starters. But, like, that's when you see a lot of the press will go, oh, blah, 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 didn't train. No, he was probably just getting some strap in or something like that.
He's warming up inside, He's got to do something extra. Yeah. Madness. Who else we got? What else we got from all these?
Before we move on to that, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Coach's Voice. Coach's Voice is an online coaching platform. They obviously don't sponsor us or anything like that, but they had the Cowley brothers on. Are they at Huddersfield? I think the Huddersfield coaches. They was at non-league not so long ago. Okay. They're now at Huddersfield. They gave a seminar yesterday where they went through what their day looks like as coaches and what the first team do and stuff like that. It's mental. The amount of detail is mental. If you're interested in that side of the game, Coach's Voice is something I definitely recommend.
I think there's that, and then I think that the Amazon Prime stuff where they've gone in behind and seen how Jose works and stuff makes everyone go, all right. So he's not just going on and taking a session and things like that anymore. I think that people kind of think that that's what Ollie does every day, and he doesn't. That's why Fletcher and Carrick and McKenna are there. They'll take sessions, they'll do different things like that. A lot of the time, he's got to sit in an office and plan things and spend more than just the session.
Well, this is the thing. Do you think Fergie was putting cones out the last 20 years? Fuck no.
No.
Probably not since he arrived at United, I'd say. Or the first couple of years at United, maybe. After that, there's not a chance Fergie was putting cones out.
No. He was
And
just
being like,
there.
here's what I'm going to take you on a warm-up. No, I don't think so.
No.
And I know that when Fergie was at United, for the most part, the session would begin and he would come down, hands in pockets, and he would watch it. And that was it.
Yeah.
He never really spoke. He just watched it. And he would make his team selections based on what he saw in training. But, you know, for Tony Strudwick and Rennie Mullenstein and earlier McLaren and Carlos Queiroz, that was who run training.
Yeah.
You know, Fergie probably had an input. No one's ever really discussed this side of it. But Fergie probably had an input where he was like, right, next 6 weeks, I wouldn't mind us maybe focus a bit more on set pieces because I think we're a bit weak there or a bit strong there or blah, blah, blah. We've got that game coming up against them and I know that they're, you know, whatever. So let's maybe focus a little bit on final third sequences are there and maybe could we do a bit more fitness in that last month or just something like that. Big picture shit. And then the detail would have been down to your Brian Kidds and McLarens and your Carlos Queiroz and all them lot.
Exactly, and that's where people kind of go, why is Darren Fletcher coming in? Well, he probably had something different. He probably looks at it different. He probably sets up sessions a bit different. He probably, like you said, he's done stuff with the reserves. He's worked with them. He's been at lower down clubs as well.
Yeah,
so
especially
maybe,
now with analysis. Can you
the
imagine how
thing
much
is he's
video and data there has to
not
be?
just that, he's played in the last few years, or probably last 5 years, he's played for a West Brom and a Stoke kind of. He was at Stoke, wasn't he?
It did go to Stoke.
Yeah.
So West Brom is what he did all right. West
Yeah,
Brom.
but he's gone there and he's experienced how they build up to bigger games. So he'll have that better input. So when we play a lower down, when we play Burnley this week, this is how they kind of work on things. This is how the lower down team prepare for a bigger team. Which for a lot of the guys that have been at United and like even Carrick's been at West Ham, Tottenham, and United, won't have been used to
look
that
at
kind
Giggs. Giggs might have the deepest experience ever, but it's the most narrow experience ever. I was at United from when they were like we were already winning trophies when he came into the team, and then he spent 22 years there.
So I've never seen what it's like below United. So how you adapt to that. So I think that's why these kind of players come in and can do a job. What else? He talked about Odion Ighalo a bit.
He did. Let's see what they had
He
to say
did.
about Ighalo because I just done my preview and I was like, I'd like to see Ighalo getting a bit of a run out. Old club, final dance.
I think for me, I think if we'd have won in the week, I think he starts quite comfortable. I think there's less pressure on this game if we'd have won the week. I think if we'd have had a final in the bank, I think that the FA Cup kind of goes, be great if we had a run, but I'm not super focused on it. But now that we're out of that, Ollie wants another cup run, I'm sure, and I think he may lean towards a Martial or even a Greenwood as a 9, considering Ighalo's not played at all.
Well, here's what he said. Odion, it's special for him against Watford. He will be involved. He's in the squad. He's been training really well. He was the top scorer in the round robin we just finished. Don't know what that means. Obviously, had some sort of Wembley that they've just played. I was going to say who do you reckon was the best, but Ighalo, no man. He's not lost any of his quality. It's been difficult for him to be out of the squad as many times because he did really well up until the summer. This season, he's not had many opportunities. He's not let himself down as a professional, as a human being. He's always a positive influence in the dressing room. I don't need to put on him that we need goals, but hopefully he can join in. I don't think he's given away whether he's on the bench or starting there. I think that's really up in the air. I think it will be on the bench. I think he goes a little stronger. But I wouldn't be gutted to see him start either.
No.
Because you've seen the level of input. You go Odion. It's your last time that you're playing for United.
Last time at Old Trafford. Potentially, because even if he goes and plays football again.
Could be your last time in England.
Could be your last time in England. You're probably going to have to go back abroad to play. You're probably not going to play at Old Trafford again in a competitive game. So go and give it your all and go and do that. And he's done that at the times he's come in. The quality has lacked a little bit. I think you've seen that when Cavani's come in, you kind of go,
oh, there's a difference.
Okay.
But you saw the difference of having him against City last year when we'd had Marshall all game, and obviously Marshall's got different strengths to him, but the difference he made by being able to hold it up the pitch, you're like, oh my God, yeah. So there's a place for him. And I think he could have been utilised more this year. I think Ollie's really underutilised him.
Yeah. And again, I think that maybe it's come down to the amount of subs. I think if it had been the 5 subs in the Premier League, I think maybe you can throw someone else on the bench. You could have, when we had the 9 and stuff, you could have had 5. You could have had them and gone, do you know what? We can gamble with a striker now and again a bit more. We've not got to worry about if there's injuries and things like that. Whereas with the 3 subs, I think he's gone, do you know what? I've got either Cavani or Martial's going to be on the bench, or there's going to be Rashford on the bench, or it's going to be Greenwood on the bench. And Ighalo's well down the list for if I've got to make one attacking sub, it's not going to be Odion Ighalo that's being brought on. And
But by the same rule, he could start him tomorrow with that.
yeah,
Go, listen, give yourself 60 minutes, get clapped off by the 150 press box attendees and call
and
it
the
a
fake
day.
crowd noise. We'll turn it on for you.
We'll turn it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's done better than what we expected him to do.
Yeah, especially
He's delivered.
he has in what was going on last January, when everyone was going absolutely mental about us bringing him in. He did the job at times. He scored some quite important goals.
Some sensational
some
goals that I
sensational
can
goals.
only remember by watching them afterwards.
Yes, and then and even little things like you've mentioned the City game, that touch and the hold up play that caused the second goal for United. You'll get remembered for that, for just being able to chest the ball down. People go, that's what Ighalo did.
Always welcome, I would say, after this. I
Absolutely.
think a guy that endeared himself to United fans. I wonder how many games he actually played with United fans at home.
Not many.
You're talking maybe 1 or 2 at best. I think he has played at home.
He has.
I'm pretty sure he has, because I remember saying, look at him. It's like, I think when we brought him on, I was like, it's like my own fucking kids playing. Look how happy he is. But I think it was only once.
Well, there was City at home. He definitely came on that one. And I can't think
Yeah,
of
maybe it
any
was
more.
a couple then, yeah.
Can't think of
I don't
any
think it
more.
was the City game I was thinking.
He must have played once before.
Yeah.
I just can't remember it at all.
Let us know in the comments. Who did he play
It's
against
a
at
year
home?
ago, that.
A year!
Nearly a year ago.
But yeah,
since-
he did have to quarantine, so he didn't play straight away.
No,
We
he
signed him deadline day.
Yeah,
So it was February.
yeah.
So you might have, and then there was an international break.
Yep.
So actually, it's not a million games.
To play twice, 3 times at home.
Yeah, with a crowd.
Even that's the same with Bruno. Bruno's played at Old Trafford 3 or 4 times with
With a
the
crowd.
fans there.
Madness.
It's madness.
Madness. So I was trying to think the other day. Obviously, like Donny van der Beek and Cavani and all that, I've never played in front of a United crowd. Oh, it's going to be mint when fans go back in, because do you know what it reminds me of a little bit is when Fergie left. Remember that?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And then we had David Moyes. Remember that? Yeah. Not so much. Wasn't as good.
No.
The crowd went to Old Trafford knowing we've also got a job to do here today. Previously, we'd gone there and gone, entertain.
Yeah, and just sat there.
And we'd win like 18 out of the 19 games at home in the league.
Yep.
Like it was nothing. Whereas under Moyes, after the first few scares we'd had, we was like, right, we better fucking step our game up. I think there's going to be that with another level on top of it for when we're allowed back in, because I think people have gone, oh, fucking missed this.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think the thing at Old Trafford, I mean, not being a season ticket holder, it was easier to get a season ticket, to get a ticket when Fergie was there. People were like, yeah, I can miss this game because we're going to win 3-0. Don't matter. Whereas even under Moyes, under Van Gaal and stuff, people going, I want to see us. This is going to be the game that we do. I can't miss this. I want to be there all the time. And it's so yeah. The buzz was it almost raised a little bit, and I think it's going to be huge when everything gets back in.
In my ear from Joe Smith, who looks like a 1970s mafioso
Honestly.
on holiday in Florida at the moment, has just said we played against Watford and Club Brugge at home with fans. I think it was the Club Brugge
And
game I was
Ighalo.
thinking of
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
head.
That's a good little stint for him, for Ighalo. Watford must have been the cup that Watford played.
Wasn't that? I remember that game. I think I was away that weekend.
Must have been
That
the
was my
cup
dad's
because the
birthday
Watford
weekend.
game. We did win 3-0. Martial scored that little chip, didn't he?
Scotty and Marty in the comments is saying Steve's so lucky to have a multi-award winning journalist making notes for him.
Who's that?
Must be Scotty.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Ollie, say anything else? Anything more?
Nah,
Not
I mean
really.
he did, but
he talked about the City game. I think
yeah, I'm
he's-
not touching on
I think
that.
he's over. We're over that a bit.
Fuck
We're
that.
trying to get away from that, aren't we?
He spoke a little bit about COVID. Can I just say, I'm fucking sick of it.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't just be sick of it because it's going to be here for a while, and this is going to be stretched on for a bit longer. But yeah, I think the first time. I'm just gonna leave that there. Can we clip that bit and get some little the sad music to play over there?
I'm fucking sick of it.
Can't do anything. Can't
It's
play
shit,
football.
mate.
Come here, go home. Done.
Fully looking forward to when everyone's vaccine. Do you know what? Might fuck off to Ibiza for 6 months, mate.
No, you can't do that
Why?
because we'll have stuff to do, and you'll want to go to Old Trafford, so you can't do that.
I'm going to go to Old Trafford and then go to Ibiza and leave my mind there.
Okay. Have a
Who's
great time.
coming?
Yeah, I'll probably go.
Hide your rum.
I'll probably go.
Yeah, you come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having it.
Yeah.
Right then. Cheers for tuning in. Hope you have a good Friday. Late kickoff tomorrow. Is it 8:15? Is it 8:15?
8 o'clock on a Saturday. Who invented
Is it 8:15
that?
though?
No. 8:15 on Tuesday against Burnley.
That's okay. Right.
Tuesday night, 8:15. Great fun.
So 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah, can't wait.
My Whoop says I'm all right, so I might get twisted tomorrow.
Oh, God.
I haven't had a beer over Christmas. I haven't had more than one beer over Christmas.
Yeah, right.
Joe's saying wrap up. Who wants to get twisted?
We can't. It's against the law.
Okay. Right, we're back at 4 for the brew. We've got Up the RH coming. We've got the other one from Scotty and Motti. And we've got the fat lad from Stretford Paddock. See you at 4.